guys, Lauren here from the Luna Celeste, and today I am talking about tarot and oracle decks for if you are new to tarot, because I've had a couple people reach out to me on YouTube and Instagram, and they were asking me like, what were the books you liked, and what are the tarot decks, or how did you get into reading? So I'm going to reiterate, I have done several videos over the past year, and a lot, obviously a lot last year about how I got started. So I am happy to update this. So basically I've been reading, I have done a lot of readings, a lot of free readings, a lot of paid readings, a lot of trade readings. I have done all the readings. So I am like the kind of person, so when I get into something, I just dive in deep, and I just let myself go after it. I don't try to stop myself. When I find a new passion, I just let myself run free and run wild with it. So if you are in that kind of place right now and you're wanting some good tips or things to help you on your journey, because I know it can be kind of, with any new thing, you can be, doubtful or maybe insecure or not sure of yourself, or not feeling confident. So this is to help you feel confident in using tarot and oracle for you in your own spiritual practice, for your friends and family, and if you are wanting to do readings for others, and you want to, whether it's free or part of your practice, or you want to start doing paid readings just to help you, really get comfortable with it, this video is for you. So let's get started. It's a little bit of a gray day. I need to get some more lighting, so please forgive me. I apologize, but I don't think it should hurt too much. So we'll get started. So I have a lot of decks, but I'm also I'm really big, I'm like a Marie Kondo fan. So whenever a deck doesn't resonate anymore, I will trade it. So if I can't remember which decks I used or really liked early on, I will clarify. But either way, these are basically some good decks that I do recommend, either ones I actually did use when I first started, or that I have now later on that I found very, maybe I would definitely recommend for beginners. But then also too, so it was having a good beginner deck, there's also the beauty that you can still use this deck as long as you want to for any kind of reading. So these are really good all-arounders too, so that a lot of tarot readers use these as their main deck for reading, or at least one of their main decks for readings, and I count myself included I include myself in that as well. So we'll go ahead and start with my favorite. My first this is not my first. I got this a few months in, but it has amazing book with it. Hold on. Okay, it comes in a little bag. This is the second edition of Inner Hugh's Lumina Tarot. And amazing cardstock. It's so hardy. I had one of my girlfriends, she is a Reiki massage therapist, and she was in town for a couple months. She had been living in Peru and came to visit for a few months, and I introduced her to all of my decks, and so this is the deck that she wanted. I got it for her for Christmas, and she told me she's been using it every single day. So she's totally new to tarot, but has found, obviously, very spiritually inclined. I mean, she is a beautiful healer, soulful healer, but she has found this to be very good for her in her own practice, so her personal practice. But yeah, I love this deck. Okay, let me tell you, with this deck most recently, so this has been always at least one of my mainstays. I actually did not use it a whole lot in March, or in April, right? So I did not use it a whole lot in March, but what I did do with it, so I did a energy healing tarot session day with two clients, both that worked in the same office, and so basically I spent a few hours with them. I did Reiki energy healing, excuse me, in their office for them, and then we had lunch, and then we did I just did tarot readings for them afterwards. So I used the Lumina. I didn't take any oracle decks because we were just doing quick just tarot reading check-ins for them. But they loved it. So this is, I love this deck. I love the aesthetic of this deck. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. There is so much. It has even more meaning to me as I've gotten more comfortable. I've always been comfortable with it, but as I just, as I've used this deck, it's been a year now I've had this deck, So it has just, I've fallen more and more in love with it. So I can't say enough good things about it. It's worth it. The shipping from Australia, if you're in the States, totally worth it. It is so damn beautiful. It really is. Yeah, Tiger's Abyss said this is like the fountain and the wild unknown had a baby. But it is so, it is a glamorous deck. It is beautiful, and I appreciate it. And every, like, people I read for, they love it. So, but I also, let me say this. So this deck was the deck I used for my brother. I didn't tell him per se. I did ask permission from his higher self, but I did do a quick reading. He had 2 potential job offers, and I'm just gonna say, like, the way I read for that, and actually I read from my mom. I don't always recommend like for professionally reading for a third party like this, but it was like my mom's like, is he gonna get that job? And I was like, so I checked with the cards, and I was like, oh yeah, he's got the job. He's gonna be living near water, and he's gonna love it. So I was just like totally like confident in this message. I'm not saying like all tarot readings need to be like that, but it was on point. It was accurate AF. So I was like, it made me even feel more comfortable with it, that like for divination, like true divination purposes, it was like, yes, 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 these are the energies coming in, this is what's at play, this is what's happening immediately. Because I am a big believer that like for like to really get into like for divination, like what is coming in, because I tell all my clients, you're the one who's empowered, it's your choice to make. You can see what energies are active, and then you can decide how to interact with them, how you dance with them, how you express them, how you deal with them. So nothing is like ever carved in stone. So, and it's also good to know to like, okay, these are the energies coming in. These are like some possibilities. Which one do I want? Which one do I want? Because it's your choice at the end of the day. So, but this deck is so beautiful. I love it for all readings. I do obviously a lot of business readings, so career type readings, but it is so good. It's got great animal medicine. The people are beautiful. I love that moon card. Yeah, and this is the 2nd edition. It's got great use of color, the symbols. I was even going to say, if I can find it, let me try and find it. I was watching Planet Earth, that documentary on Netflix last night. The kids love it. I love it. The whole family, we all love it. And I was going to say, I saw this in action in one of those, I think it was the Meadowlands, Planet Earth. Okay, I gotta find it. So you can also see it's got a lot of use of like white background or black background. Excuse me. Look at that death card. How amazing. And I love this 3 of Cups too. This was one of the cards that was changed from the 1st to the 2nd edition, but I'll just point that out. Okay, it's not there. Hold on. But the cardstock is really thick. It's smooth. It feels so good in the hand. I do not riffle shuffle this, but over the hand, it's very meditative to shuffle with, and it's just gorgeous. It is so gorgeous, and it's got, yeah, it's just so beautiful. Okay, this. All right, so I just thought I would share. So there was a mouse that lived in the field, a field mouse in the Planet Earth documentary, and basically the mouse tries to avoid touching the ground. It has its beautiful little nest, like this like grass ball nest. I don't know what to call it, the technical term, and it's up in, it's off the ground. And basically the little mouse was like, climbs all the flowers in the meadow like this, like doesn't touch the ground, and like an owl is about to come in and swoop and get her, and then that's when she ended up falling to the ground to hide and get away and got back home. But it's like, the precariousness of like holding on to, like, especially with the 8 of Swords, right? Yeah, I mean, Eight of Swords. It's like you're holding on to each thought, and it's like it's precarious because it's not obvious, it's swords, and I don't know. It just gave a deeper meaning, because it's like, okay, this card might not make a lot of sense per se. You're like, that's not obviously a good position to be in. You got it. Like the mouse needs to work on this. We got to get through this. But I love to know that like this actually happens in nature. Like this actually happens in nature. So anyway, and look at this 4 of Pentacles. It is so like that green color. If you can't, I mean, I know the lighting's not the best right now, but it is so vibrant, so vibrant. Such a beautiful use of color. This Ten of Swords is amazing. And that Eight of Pentacles, look at that. It always looks to me like a honeycomb. I always take it to, like, I think of bees every time, but yeah. So I know some people complained about like too many, like they thought the people might be too beautiful, not enough diversity. I don't have a problem with that. I really do. Like all the people I've used it to read for, they love it. It shows up so well on, you know, like for, you know, pictures and photos. And it does, it's not like, it doesn't have a lot of people either. It has a lot of, you know, nature and animal medicine too. So, you know, I just find it such a good mix. I mean, to me, it is diverse. It's just got all the, like all this like rich sacred geometry symbolism, nature, the flowers, the animals, the people. It's just very, like, they're very like empowered people. It's like the archetypes are very strong. They are not weak in their archetype. But anyway, it's like I could just talk on and on and on. That's the Ace of Cups. It is mystical AF. I'm in a good mood today. I woke up this morning and I had like good hair, and I'm like, we gotta do videos. If anyone else decides like today's going to be a good day, the hair is under control. All right, but anyway, so that is like the one I just highly recommend. And then here's I've talked about this several times, but the guidebook is amazing. This is such, I mean, it's such a great, it'd be such a beautiful, if you like to do the psychoanalysis of things, you know, and the higher self, and the, like this, like practical spiritual messages. It's just, it will be so good for you. And it has a shadow message at the bottom, which I always found useful. Elise from Wild Moon Woman did say like how she doesn't talk about the symbolism that she uses in the cards, so like in the messages. So you know how some books will break it down so you'll know like, okay, why is that symbol used? Like what exactly? Like going into depth, like the Star Tarot. I'm going to show you guys that one. Like she goes into major depth with the symbolism, and so does Phantasmagoria. But anyway, we'll get to that. But yeah, great book, great book, and it's just, this is a great thing if you are like stepping into a spiritual path and learning tarot, and you already are like a mystical woo-woo person, and you're like developing this. This is such a good deck all around for you that you can use in your own practice and for paid readings, and just it covers all the bases. So there is that one, and I'm gonna drink coffee. But let me say also, so let's we'll keep it real. So I decided to stick to the Rider-Waite system. I had talked about maybe getting into Marseille at some point. I haven't had time, so I'm trying to stay very focused so I'm more effective in my life with my goals. Oh, I love shuffling this. Okay. So anyway, I do recommend, like, don't feel like you need to do like Thoth and Rider-Waite and Marseille. It's like, it's okay, or Lenormand, or, you know, just like allow yourself to stick to one. And I do, like, a lot of us in the community, we use Rider-Waite as like the main one, or at least the main one you learn on. It is, and all these decks actually are based on Rider-Waite, by the way, let me clarify. So, you know, some of them might mix in a little bit of Thoth, or probably even Marseille as well. And I have noticed, like, the little bit I have read on the other systems, it helps add more into my own tarot practice for the cards and how I see the cards. So I'm just another aside on that. So, but anyway, this is the Albano Waite. My first deck was the plaid back Rider-Waite. And this is, you can go back if you can, go back and look at my, one of my like first videos. It has keywords, sorry. Keywords. So the tarot lady had, I went to her website, and she has a great free ebook resource on meanings of the cards. And she had, you know, had basically, like, I took like what she had, you know, recommended, and then I ended up making my own later. But so basically I wrote 3 main keywords on the back of all the cards on the plaid back, and that was, you know, it's not a super expensive deck. I highly recommend that. So if you are new to tarot, write the 3 keywords, like choose which ones resonate the most with you for the cards that you want to like get into your brain and anchor into your mind. and use these as flashcards. And literally, if you do this for a week, carry it around in your bag and work on this when you go through all the, the images and, rattle off the keywords, look at the keywords and state, and know which image, which card it is, that will immediately build a strong foundation for you to jump off from. And that was I highly recommend doing that the first. Put the keywords down and start reading for yourself. That's what I did. Did the keywords, did for a week, stuck with the keywords. And this is the albino weight. So I got this one later. I threw away my plaid bag with the keywords on it after a couple months, but I didn't know what to do with it. So I ended up, this is the only rider weight I have. And I love it because of the colors. And I'll show you too. It's a little bit more crisp. Sacred Seed. Elle from Sacred Seed. She has a really good comparison video of 4 versions of the rider weight and the albino weights included. And I just feel like this one was just a little bit more crisp on the details and not so blurry. And you can see here, I feel and also I love the psychedelic colors from the 60s. I have also the Morgan Greer up here too that I love, but I just really love this. I tend to, when I pull this out, I pull it out and I use it for a while and then I just put it back and I don't touch it for a while. But yeah. So if you did want to see a good comparison video, in case you want to get another version of the rider weight, I do recommend. So yeah, the swords have that a pale yellow background. Pentacles have the green. The wands have the orange. Creativity, right? Sacral chakra, love it. And then the cups have the blue. I feel yeah, you can just see the details a little bit better. I'm trying to find. Can't find it. Also, on the court card, so you can see the detail, or at least for me personally, I can see the details much better on the albino weight version. A lot of it kind of gets, the albino weight really distinguishes the different symbols on the throne. That's a nice strong 10 of cups with that rainbow. I'm looking for Temperance. I am such a child of the 80s. Oh my gosh. So this Temperance has the rainbow. It even has, the angel has the blue on the wings, the red wings with the blue tips, or, blue overarching on top. And then that rainbow. It's not on the other cards, but they said most likely this was, the rainbow would have been there back in the day. So just for historical purposes, but also Temperance is associated with Iris. So if you like Greek mythology, I'm a big Greek mythology fan. It's bringing in how obviously there's all the archetypes, all the gods and goddesses, all the deities. Everything is in all systems are somehow associated with tarot. So I wanted something that was bring in that rainbow. Don't discount it. It's I love color. So anyway, that's just my opinion. So that's what kind of sold me on the albino weight. And I will always have a rider weight deck, and I do use this for others. I don't use it a whole bunch, but it's always there because, and at the very least too, so even if you decide you don't like to read with it, this is a great study deck. So when you are in the mood to go really study, go deep into the cards, and I'll show you Rachel Pollack's Tarot Wisdom book is great for that because she goes really deep into the spiritual meaning. So it's kind of nice to have a traditional deck on hand. So anyway, okay. Hi. All right. So another one. Oh, okay. Let me say this. So another deck I got early on. This is not the same one. I got this is the what's this? The Czech or the Polish version of Shadowscapes. I love this deck. God, I love this deck. So this was my next deck after I got got comfortable with the rider weight. And then I was immediately wanting to get, I was like, I need to get another deck. I want another deck. So this one, okay, and also I'll say, this version, this Czech or Polish version I got through eBay, Europe, whichever country it is, I can't remember, sorry. Cosmic Creeper was the one that brought this into my awareness. I was like, I have to have this deck because I had my first Shadowscapes, the English version. I loved it. I loved that deck. I wore out that deck. And it's not necessarily like all arounder, but I just fell in love with it. It really helped open me up to different kinds of meanings for the cards, seeing the energy, just seeing it from a whole new light. It's more of a, mystical, fairy, otherworldly deck. And it really helped. I love, druidry. Was that the right word? I love, like druids and connecting to nature. And I really do feel like this brings in a lot of that energy. So, and the other thing is the book for this, Barbara Moore wrote the book, and it's very poetic, and it really helped me get out of that analytical frame of mind, like, okay, if, this card comes up for this situation, this is what this means. It helped me get out of that, left brain, thing and start looking at the cards and, like, really bringing in intuition. So, the benefit for me with tarot has been to really start to trust my intuition, and I realized how much over my whole life, or like the last, as an adult through my 20s, how much I squashed it. And this really helped me to start trusting my intuition. And the way she writes about the cards, it's basically like a little story, and I'll say a little story, but it's like a beautiful poetic story. And it just really just helped me get more just calmer and more connected with the cards, and not so like, high strung with it, like, it needs to be perfect. I need to, know exactly what this means perfectly. So it helped me just ease up on that, not be so perfectionist with it. But look at that Knight of Cups. This is the Knight of Cups, sorry. Yeah, so you're not going to know which cards. But so I do recommend it. I got this, I ended up trading that deck, and I was like, went a couple months without it, and then I was like, nope, I need this. And also, this version is gilded. I don't know if the current English version is gilded, but this version is gilded. So, and it's so beautiful. So, and actually, I do use this for others. I don't use it a whole lot. Let me show you this This is the Eight of Pentacles. It is just so beautiful. And look at the world. It's a magical deck. It is a very magical deck, and this is a larger card size. So on this version, so I might, if you end up loving it and you get the English version, you might want to get this version too, just because it is bigger and those cards are so detailed and the artwork is so intricate to really enjoy it. But I did find that book early on in my journey just really helped me get out of logical, analytical frame of mind with learning tarot, and just start to feel it, and it freed me. So I'm not saying, of course, maybe another deck can do that for you, but I do recommend that. I also got Tarot of the She around the same time, and I really do love that deck, and it did help me open up too, in a different kind of way. But just like for a beginner and like really like, because I don't use the Tarot of the She a lot now. It's like kind of something like I pull out for specific things. It's not like I don't use it as a daily draw deck. It's like much more intense for me than that. So. Not to say it's a beautiful deck, but if as a beginner, as like to have a deck that you're going to probably use for your whole journey until, if you ever get tired of it, if it's even possible to get tired of it, it's like these are the ones that have stuck around or like really had a major impact on me as a beginner, learning how to read and getting comfortable with the cards, and able to bring it into my professional practice. Okay. All right. And then another deck I use, I don't use this a whole lot either, but the book, I really did enjoy the book. It was much more of this is the Bonefire Tarot. I do not use it a lot, but this is another deck that, well, actually I had an accident with it. I tried to cut the borders off. I was in a mood one day. I was like, I'm going to cut the borders off, and I am not very Martha Stewart, and so that was not the right move. So I ended up ruining the deck, and so I ended up trading for this and got it again because I did miss it as well. And it just had this, like, it's like, I still love this deck. It still has a certain kind of energy. It's a little feisty, and there's a lot going on. The cards are very busy, but I love Gabby Angus's art. She's working on a Frida Kahlo deck. Frida, did I say that correctly? Sorry. Yeah, but she's working on a new tarot deck. And I really did like this book. The book was very, I was like, there's definitely like, she brought in more of that shadow energy, the shadow message energy in the book, which was good for me because at the time, I was kind of like avoiding all shadow messages, and I was, not reading reversed at all. I don't really read reversed now, but I will usually, like when I do a spread, I will look at like, I will still look at like what might be a block or a shadow message, for a position on the, in a spread. But anyway, so I do love this deck. I do. I was like, I had to have it still. It's like, it's so beautiful. This is the mass-produced version, mass-published. Sorry, I got a million things going on in my head. I'm sorry, it's like hard to get the words out. But anyway, yeah. But just for the book purposes, if you like this artwork, definitely, I feel like you can't go wrong. I don't use this for others. Hardly at all, but I do like it for myself on occasion. It's kind of like Tarot the She. I'll pull it out if sometimes I get in the in the mood, and it's like, okay, give me the honest truth there, Bonefire. But it is beautiful. It does have Gabby. I love Gabby's writing style. She really did bring in this, like, more of the, the happy meaning, but she does not hesitate to share, like, the shadow side to the cards. So I'm usually more of an optimistic person, so it was like kind of like help balance me out. But it's not necessarily necessary for if you're new to tarot on your journey. But if you do like the art style, it is a fun deck. It's good to have like not that anyone really necessarily have heard say this is a dark deck, but it is good to have a dark deck. Tarot the She is in there. There's some really scary cards, and this one's a little bit darker. There's a darker slant to it. So, actually, I don't have the book. Well, I do have the book, but I don't have the book to show you guys. But it does have colored representations for the Bonefire, and it is a really good read. So, another deck, and we'll cover some of the books too. Okay, yeah. Just trying to make sure. Okay. The Morgan Greer deck. So this is basically, this is my main go-to. It's not traditional Rider-Waite, but it says pretty damn close, and I just love this deck. This is Ethany loves this deck. I was like, everyone loves this deck, and I love the card stock. It's borderless. It's like such a comfortable shuffle. It just makes me so damn happy. But yeah, this one's like my favorite, so I will pull this out over like the traditional Rider-Waite, any day. I love the close-ups. The colors are really good. Chakras, you see the temperance here. But yeah, it's got like all the traditional symbolism with a 70s flair. Let me show you the romance cards. I mean, obviously that Ten of Cups, very romantic. That one's pretty. And there's that. Yeah, I love that Nine of Pentacles. I love the Queen of Cups in this, like her seashell. So beautiful and calm. I like how the cups are illustrated in this deck. It just makes me so happy. I've used this a ton. I love, 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 love. I use this for the business readings. This one. Yes. So the Ten of, let me show you guys the Devil. It's kind of a cool devil. It can be scary, but it's not too in your face, like the Queen of Wands or rods in this. Wands. I'm going to show you. Yeah, the Ten of Pentacles, like, oh, it's so happy and romantic. It's like, yeah, a historical romance, how it ends. So, anyway, and There's a King of Pentacles. So great deck, great deck. You know, it comes with just like a little white book. So does the Albino weight, by the way. But great deck. This is something you can buy this one first. You know, it's gonna be a first deck, and you probably won't ever get rid of it because it's just so good. It is so good. I love the way the messages come across for me. This has never been like Bonefire or like Terror the She or, you know, like Dark Goddess. You know, like these, like they can be like brutal in their honesty, and this one's always been so. It's been so nice. It's just like it's just so good. It's like Lumina. Lumina, like it never comes across to me as like trying to be brutal, you know, like in your face with like, this is what's happening in your life, fix it. You know, I mean, you know, if you know what I'm trying to say, it's like, it always has this like nice, clean, it's like spring water, like fresh spring water in the mountains. It's just, it's soothing, and it tells me what I need to know, and and I love it for clients. It's just such a beautiful deck. All right. Then I have a couple more, and then I'm going to also show you guys oracle decks too for this. But I was trying to think. So on my journey, we'll take a moment. Yeah. So so I did the keywords, you know, made the flashcards, got really comfortable. I read for myself non-stop and was reading the books, you know, buying decks. And I got to the point, and I'll tell you, so Elise from Wild Moon Woman, she was the one, so she did a reading for me, and I did like a 3-question reading with her, and one of the questions I asked her, I was like, you know, I'm feeling called to read for others, and this is like, I hadn't read for anybody, it was like, or maybe my mom, you know, but something like that, but I asked her, and she was basically like, yes, you need to start reading for others, like, go ahead, like, you know, it's like, you know, and when you get to that point where you're like, am I ready? I'm like, you know, you're a beginner still, but you feel ready to go to the next step. And she totally gave me that confidence to get off the horse and like actually start doing it. So what I did that at the time, so Eclectic Tarot was still in existence. So I know it's not there anymore. So what I would recommend too, if you are a member, you know, like find a Facebook group. I mean, you know how there's tons and tons of like tarot swap or buy and sell tarot decks, and so you know like there's like find a tarot group community on Facebook that you can where they offer free readings. I feel like I have seen some groups like one day a week where you can like ask for a reading or do readings or trade readings. So basically on Eclectic, the Eclectic Tarot Forum, they had, you know, that whole, you know, where you basically I would just, it'd be like on a Friday night, and I would like post like, hey, I am available for readings. You know, I'm doing like 3-card readings, or I would just basically test out everything. So do, you know, like, do only love readings, or do like business readings, or, you know, do past, present, future, and or whatever it is, and like play around with all of it. And I would do like basically open readings, like I would say 3-card readings with an oracle card and wrap up, and you know, basically, I said I'd read for anything, you know, starting out, and that way, my cat, and that way you'll know what you like to read for. You'll get comfortable reading for all the questions, and it's so beautiful. And like also, I always kept it pretty open ended, but I had seen where people would do specific readings, like I'm doing this spread, or I'm doing Celtic crosses. So tell me your situation, or they'll do. I saw one person, they were doing a bunch of like a specific spread around shadow, like your shadow side. And I remember like that. I remember getting on there, and they read for me, and it was, you know, sometimes you like, it's like trading, like doing reading exchanges, or reading exchanges for feedback. So you could like, you know, have someone read for you as well, which I did a lot of trades on that. And then also just like, here, I'll read for you, I just need your feedback. And I did a lot of that as well. So I was going to say, so that one person that I remember them doing like all this like a specific shadow spread for everybody, and everyone except for me, I was the only one that said it did resonate. I mean, I'm not saying like, you know, sometimes those shadow spreads can be very intense. They can like reveal something you might not be ready to see yet. And I remember I was like, wow, that was so cathartic and healing. But everyone else was like, it's not resonating, it's not resonating. And then that person ended up saying, okay, I'm taking a break, you know, I'll come back to this, because it seems like everyone's either not willing to see the shadow side, or it's too much of an intense reading, or it really isn't resonating, so something might be off. But either way, allow yourself to just start reading and learning, and it is totally okay. Even honestly, if you do start reading, feel comfortable like looking at the book until you get comfortable, like, and then allow yourself to start, like, make that leap from, like, reading the book and then intuitive reading. You can do it. You can do it. And so if anyone's on that fence, give yourself that opportunity. So if you find a Facebook group or another tarot community forum where you can do those, another thing I did, which you can do. So if you're on Instagram, go. I did free reading Fridays, and I remember it was like when I first started. So I was like, I might have had one or two, and I was like, please let me read for you. And like, so I was doing it almost every Friday. And then each week, some weeks would be like, about the same. And then it finally got to the point, a couple weeks of that. I did it maybe for like 2 or 3 months in total. And then like that last free reading Friday I did, it was like 50 people. And I read for as many as I could. I read through the weekend. And I don't necessarily recommend that. If anything, like, I used to say like one free reading, but then I always felt compelled to read for others. So, it was read for as many people as I could. So if you are wanting to do that and you're like me and you might like overgive, just say like free reading Friday or whatever it is, like, hey, I'm offering this many free readings, like, or offer 5. And then like if you had 10 people reach out to you, like maybe either just let them know like, hey, I'll do this again next week. If you want me to read for you next week, I will. But don't feel bad. And also maybe even if you don't want to cap it per se, just say, I'm doing free reading Fridays. I have this amount of time. I will try and get to as many of you as I can. And then whoever you're not able to get to, that way you can stop it when you feel comfortable. Just like, I have a limited amount of time. I can do, a certain amount of free readings. I'm just trying to help you guys so you're preempt yourself so you're not wasting your whole weekend reading for others in a tight space. Like, don't give up all your free time on your weekend to do free readings. Like, let them come in and kind of like just spread it out. Like, I'd rather have you do like 5 or less free readings, on a day, and then, over a longer period of time than try to do everybody all at once. So don't feel like you have to read for everyone. You can have a boundary on that, have a healthy boundary on that. So anyway, and also you can use and asking, like, if you're going to do free readings, ask for a testimonial, ask for feedback, and allow that to be used on your website or, post on social media, and like really get the ball rolling so you can do the paid readings if that's what your goal is. And sorry. Okay. Sorry. It's like, so my phone beeped. Okay. All right. So I hope that helps you guys. So yeah, and I did that for like 2 or 3 months, and then I was ready to just like, offer my paid tarot readings. So with that said, I have 4 more decks here. We're going to do these really quick. So actually, let me do the next one. Okay. Here, the Star Tarot. This is one I used for a lot of, when I first got this deck, like last fall, I ended up using this a lot for entrepreneurs. Oh, hello. Look at that. I did cut off the borders. Yes, it's glossy. It's a pain in the butt, but it's okay. She does mix several systems, so I love the way this came out. This is super intuitive, I found, and oh god, it's so gorgeous. And the readings, so I did this for several other entrepreneurs for their businesses, and they loved it. They love this deck. And like one of the we're in a entrepreneurship group together. One of the ladies was like, what deck was that? I want to buy that. So it was like, really called to her, and she's not a tarot person at all, but she was like, okay, if I'm going to get into tarot, this is the deck I want. And it is very thoughthy as well, especially with this full, but yeah, I did cut off the borders, but it is so colorful. And I was going to say, so the beauty of this deck, I mean, obviously it's gorgeous, and it's a great all-arounder, and very intuitive. The book is so beautifully written, and there's symbolism, and I found it to be, it was such a breath of fresh air. And she, the way she goes into great detail, so like with the moon phases, so like the 10 of Wands, the astrological is Saturn in Sagittarius, 20 to 30 degrees Sagittarius, mutable fire, I mean, it just had the lunar cycle and keywords. It is so juicy, and she'll have like a page for like the meaning, and then she'll wrap it up with like breaking down the symbolism. So she'll have like quite a few paragraphs on breaking down the symbolism in the card, so you're not wondering why she used what she used. And it is gorgeous. It is so gorgeous. So yeah, it is very chunky, and so there's quite a bit written on each of it. So look at the back. It's so beautiful. So the cardstock is not anything to write home about, but the book is beautiful and it is gorgeous, other than it is glossy, so it's kind of like, you know, that glare. But anyway, just we'll throw that out there. But it is a beautiful, I've enjoyed just like sitting, you know, on the couch in the evenings reading the Star Tarot book. I love it. So okay, next one, the Socerebito. I used this yesterday for my live. So very modern, beautiful. I read a lot for myself with this, and I use this as like a daily deck for me for quite a while. And I thought it would be quick for me to use for others in readings, and actually isn't. I apparently can be very long-winded even with this deck. So as simple as it may seem, I get a lot of intuitive hits with it and downloads. So anyway, I do recommend it for just because it is modern, and I really do like, there's quite a bit of an edge, and it does have really pretty gilding, if you can see. I like the cardstock too, but yeah, very modern, simplistic. I love the like it's got like that, like a Japanese flair to it with that green tea. It's like, oh, like I haven't been to Japan, but I would love to go. And it's got like Buddhist, not I guess symbolism, but it brings in a lot of that mystical quality. The High Priestess. So you can buy this one on Etsy, or maybe her website too. But yeah, Socerebito. Let me show you. That's how you spell it. So, and I'll show you guys. So the guidebook with this, it's a little pamphlet, but I found it to be like, I learned it a method. It's just like quick little paragraphs, but it is so good. And she does do the reverse meaning. So, like the Page of Cups, emotional, intuitive, intimate, loving, thoughtful, sentimental, romantic. In some decks, this card is shown as Cupid. The young woman on this card holds a key, showing that her heart is easy access. Feelings flow easily for her, and she is good at listening to her heart and gut. This card could indicate the advancement of a relationship or the suggestion to be more open and loving, to display acts of affection and generosity. And the reverse meaning for the Page of Cups may exhibit a childlike level of immaturity or can indicate substance abuse. So it's pretty quick to the point, but some of the cards, like the Two of Wands, I remember kind of like being blown away in a reading with it for myself, and I was just like, you know, like wanting to like really get her perspective. I love reading the guidebooks from the decks. So not only just like, you know, obviously there's a plentiful amount of standalone tarot books, but I have found to be, I found my own like confidence with tarot has been like reading these guidebooks. You know, get a new deck, play around with a new deck, read the guidebook, get their perspective on it, and yeah, I really did enjoy it. So maybe not necessarily like your first deck, but definitely like I think it's a great deck to add in. It has a certain kind of flair. It has its own energy, and I do like the modern style of it, and I use it for others so as well. So, all right, and then so these next two, and then I'll show you the rest of the books and oracle decks. So these next two, these are not necessarily your like a beginner deck, but I really do recommend these. I feel like these would help leapfrog. They'll jumpstart your tarot experience, your tarot journey. And this is the Wild Unknown. This did not come to me immediately, like in a sense of like, I got it early on, but I kind of like looked at it, sat it, and it sat in the box, and then finally I felt ready to like use it, and actually, and found this one to be. This is super intuitive. Also, I didn't pull these out, but Gypsy Palace and the Chez Monet. The Chez Monet has, that one's very, that's like, if we're looking at a swimming pool here, and like a lot of these great all-arounder decks are, like kind of like the shallow end. Not that they're shallow decks, but like if you are first learning to swim, these are great. These decks would be, they're like the floaties, right? You can swim in the shallow end. And then like Gypsy Palace and Chez Monet, Dark Goddess, those are like the deep end. And this one's, I feel like, kind of like in the middle. It's not necessarily like the first deck you might want to pick up, but you will learn how to read intuitively. I'm also, so I did not like the guidebook, Avalon from Avalon's Apothecary. She recommended Carrie Mallon, who's another beautiful tarot reader in the community. She has a blog that is devoted to, or she's got like, she has a write-up on every single card in this deck. Like, she has done an amazing write-up, and Avalon recommended it, and so that really did help me get in tune with this deck to see, notice the energies, notice the lines, see the lines behind the butterfly. Those don't go ignored. Don't assume those are arbitrary. Those are, those have meaning to them. Like, the energy here, it's like two things are coming together, and, what's going to happen? Like, the energies are, colliding, joining, connecting. So what is happening? What is coming from this? So in this radiating energy. So yeah, I do recommend. So if I basically have studied this deck, not in as much detail as Carrie did, but so Carrie Mallon's blog, she's on Instagram, I think under her name, but definitely please read up on her. Like, she's got a whole section on her blog devoted to this deck. It will help you so much. And she goes into such juicy detail, and she's not long-winded with it at all. It's like to the point, but this like, here's the energy of the card, here's the meaning and like how it's represented. It is very, very, very good. So if you get this deck and you're like, what does this deck mean? How to grasp it. Also works with the chakras, and you can see how Lumina might be, kind of closely related. And it's got really smooth cardstock. This is I don't know, the 3rd edition maybe, but so smooth. And I do have the Animal Spirit Oracle deck that comes with this, which I use I use it for myself more, but this deck I use for myself and others. I love it, and I usually, when I pull this out, I don't stop using it until I use the crap out of it. So. Anyway, okay, this is becoming a long video. All right, so there's that one, and yeah, so Carrie Mallon's blog for the learning about that. And then also the Star Child, which the Moon Child is available for pre-order. This is a Star Child, gorgeous deck. What's her name? Danielle Noel, I think. Look at this. So this is obviously not necessarily a beginner deck, but if you were, I would say get this deck early on. If this is your jam, just because, especially just for your personal spiritual readings for yourself in your own practice. I mean, I do use this for others, but I did not use this for others for a long time, really just now, this year. So I didn't, I've had this deck for, I don't know, however long, at least a year, I can't remember, but I did not use it for others. And then even now, I always use it in conjunction with another tarot deck, and I use this deck to bring in the more spiritual, higher self energy, the higher chakras. And but if this calls to you, if you like this cosmic vibe, the Star Child, Starseed, galactic vibe, then I totally recommend it. I still think it would do you well. It would serve you very well, especially if you love journaling. And that's another thing I did. So from the beginning, I journaled. I have gone through so many journals just with my tarot readings, and I don't go back to read them, but I do recommend it. It is nice to have them, or to allow yourself to journal out. So you through that process, you're going to learn the cards for yourself, learn the energies and how they work in your life. So it's only going to help you when you read for others too, if that is your goal. So I love this. And the guidebook is absolutely amazing. So yeah, I'm not saying like if you're wanting to read for others and you want to, this is the first deck, this might not be the first deck for you to use for others, but definitely it's so worth it just because the guidebook is so good. So for all those beautiful souls out there that are just wanting to really like develop your own personal spiritual practice, this is such a beautiful guide for that, especially if if you see yourself as a light worker, as as a soulful being. I mean, I know we all, maybe all feel that way, but definitely if you're like an energy healer, if you do Reiki, any and all of that, like if you see yourself as a star seed, star child, obviously, if you connect to like, I love sci-fi. I'm such a, I just love this, and connecting to your higher self. This and the Lumina, I'm like, you get Lumina and Star Child and maybe like, I don't know, one other deck, and you'd be golden. So yeah, she goes into quite a bit of detail. So there we go for those tarot decks. And then just really quickly, so Phantasmagoria, this is from the Tarot of Vampires, which I don't even hardly ever, I have not used that deck. I just have the book, and at least from Wild Moon Woman, highly recommended it, but this is really in detail. So if you're wanting this, and this is obviously a darker deck, which is super sexy and fun, so it'd be great for like Halloween time. But yeah, it goes into the alchemy, the kindred spirits, the essence, the message, the analysis and symbolism, and yeah, is that everything? Analysis and symbolism, the shadow. It just has everything. Make sure. Okay. Sorry, okay. Yeah, so yeah, this cover is like super thick and juicy. And then along with that too, so the next ones are all standalone for tarot. This is from the Benabel Winds course. This is you can get this through the Tarot Readers Academy. It's like a $35 course, and there's instructions to be able to print this book off. So this you can't just go buy this at the store. But Benabel Wind, and it's a really thick, but it's like basically a process. So you kind of like, it has all the information, but it's not going to take you that long to read it like when you go through this. But if that makes sense, so like basically, it has like you're picking like whatever you're needing to heal and develop and strengthen in regards to shadow work. And it's like it has all the cards, but like you're going to be committing to a certain major arcana and then using the minor arcana to help you unlock your shadow. So I got blown away by this book. I really do recommend it, especially for like if you're new to tarot and you're really wanting to work on yourself. this is like great for self-reflection. This is great for psychoanalysis, and I've been really into mindset work around like for entrepreneurship, for money. And like I love money mindset and like growing our wealth, especially as women entrepreneurs, and like like even the idea of like overgiving, undercharging, burning ourselves out, having fear around being visible, all of those things. Like not that like this book, I mean the shadow work itself, covers everything. So like whatever your particular set of shadow is, but helping you unlock your power, re-empower yourself, like get almost like soul retrieval, from trauma or past experiences that made you feel like you weren't worthy or deserving or good enough. This is the book. So great just for your personal practice. And obviously it doesn't hurt to know this also. So if you like to do shadow work with your clients, this would be a great book to help you dive into that. And then also for beginners, I know that's like kind of like intermediate, but the Tarot Wisdom. She also has another book called like 78 Degrees of Wisdom that is like always recommended. So actually, I didn't get that book because I was a little bit like a rebel. And I was like, no, I'm going to get this Tarot Wisdom. So this is more of the spiritual bent. It is very detailed. Like you read up on like one card and you're going like, here's the star. And you're going to be like, okay, I'm good for a while. It's like a George Martin book. like Game of Thrones. Like I would read like 1 or 2 chapters and be like, okay, that was a lot. Very, very detailed. But for beginners, you can't go wrong with a Rachel Pollack book. Yeah. And then the other one. So this is the very first book that got recommended to me. It is based off the Fall system. Angelus Arian is amazing. This is a really quick way, and this also has like the birth card information as well. But it is so juicy. I recommend it, even though I'm a Rider-Waite-Smith person, a girl. So it shows like the Hermit as a lifetime symbol, the Hermit as a growth symbol, Hermit as a visual affirmation and meditative symbol, sample affirmations to use while looking at the Hermit as an outer mirror, and other symbols that are aspects of the Hermit. And then I'm an Empress birth card, so it's going to show you the gifts and challenges for persons whose lifetime personality symbol is the Hermit. So it's got like a cool little way to like, it's got spreads too. But what is this? Like what growth cycle are you in, and like just how it applies to your birth, your birth card itself, the gifts and challenges. Oh, it's so. It's got examples of like Marilyn Monroe's, and it has like a way to help you calculate. Like it has like all kinds of cool, nifty, like spiritual tools within this that help you calculate all of this and like really go dive in deep, but then also know the cards too. So I really did enjoy this. So yeah, you can do your personality symbol, your soul spiritual symbol, your growth symbol for the current year, the zodiac symbol attributed to tarot, sensory ability, and major path placements, like and your tarot profile. Like it's so much fun, but. Even without all of that too, it's just like, here's like the write-up. So the Two of Pentacles, and I was going to say also a bunch of like with Lumina, like, and even, yes, Star Child and like the Star Tarot, they work with astrology. So if you are into astrology, which I love, I know I pretty much have like studied it enough now. It's like, I don't need the symbols in the deck. I know which one, like where the zodiac placements are for all the cards, but, or at least for the majors, but it is nice too, like when you do have a deck that like will show you, who was it? Oh yeah, I don't have it out, but Cosmic Tarot is really good with that, like showing like the planetary and zodiac signs on the cards, so you know like what energies, in case you do like to bring in some astrology energy into your readings. It's nice to have those symbols in place so you know like what, it's just nice to know. I feel like it adds an extra layer. And I started with astrology before I got into tarot, which is an astrologer recommended tarot to me, and this is the book she had recommended first. So it was like I bought the book, got a deck, and then I was off. Like the astrologer knew. She's like, you should check into tarot. She was totally right. So, and then with also, so almost done. Almost done. All right, so. Oh, just a side note, I love the Bad Bitches. I just got this like a month or so ago. I have really, really enjoyed this. So if it's really quick and to the point, it's quick, little cute guidebook. Not necessarily maybe like a first deck, but let me say, I love the feel of the cards, the gilding, the backing's got the foil B, rose gold, and it is so beautiful, so gorgeous. I mean, look. Oh, so it's like women, it's all women, and it's empowering, and it's really beautiful, and it's fun. I love it because I work with mostly women entrepreneurs and their businesses, so it's fun to have something that's quick for like those kind of business readings. And anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. It's a beautiful minimalist deck, and I've really enjoyed it. It's just nice, especially it feels like. I mean, it's not a summer deck, but it just like now that we're out of the heavy winter energy, I'm like, I want something fun and like, empowering and beautiful and like to the point. And anyway, I just, excuse me, had to share. And then, sorry, okay. All right, For Ye Beautiful Soul. So where is that? I don't know where it went. I had it up here. So here, the Connected and Free, which is the sister oracle deck from Inner Hue. with the Lumina Tarot. I really recommend this deck. I do not know where I put it, or did it fall? It comes in a nice little box. Ah, here we go. Dun dun dun. All right, so the Connected and Free. I saw that Manifestation Babe. So anyone that follows her, she doesn't do like readings, but she's she loves spiritual tools. So she uses this deck, and the guidebook is so good. Look at that. It's just so colorful, and just it goes so well with Lumina. It goes well with everything, but the guidebook is beautiful. So if you're needing, like, for a beginner, gorgeous, gorgeous deck. You know, it has that same cardstock as the Lumina. Absolutely stunning. And then also, this is like the creme de la creme. So the Sacred Creators Oracle. And this is from Chris Ann. She's on Instagram as Pixie Curio. She is working on 2 tarot decks right now. And I think she's updating this, like changing a few of the cards. So she's, I guess, basically coming out with a new edition. Like, see how beat up this book is? I use this all the time. Like, when I first got it, I carried this around for months with me. And I sometimes still do carry it around. But this deck, I use this also for helping me with content creation, for batching my newsletters, my emails, and like just topics to talk about in regards to business. So like if I feel like I'm running dry, like with my creativity, I'm like, I'll just read some of this and I'll be like, oh, okay, here's something I can talk about, you know, and like how, you know, just to help. I love sharing content from like my business experience, and this really it's just so good. It's just really good for unlocking our creativity, helping obviously if you're an entrepreneur, but you know, just if you're wanting to create something. She covers like every single emotion. I don't know how she gets so much into this, but she does. So, excuse me. Really recommend. And then the yeah, just beautiful. And the cardstock is like luxurious AF. And so, Bad Bitches, Lumina, Star Child, Wild Unknown, Sacred Creators Oracle. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous cardstock. Sorcerer Beto feels the same. And then the last 2, so for beginners and everyone alike, but I use this all the time. This is the Color Gypsy deck of color. This is her first one. Beautiful. These cards are beat up, so please don't, sorry. I was like, these got beat up really bad, but I did carry this around a lot with me, and I use this a lot for others. And then the I Am Power deck. Oh, it's so precious. Like, there's the backings, and I love this. Is such a happy deck, and I love this one as well. This is so much fun. This is a great grounding. You know, I use this for some new moon readings, like for affirmation setting. Elise from Wild Moon Woman did this for me too in the past, and I found that to be like, you know, either, you know, shuffling the cards and cutting the deck, or pulling out affirmations that you are wanting to bring in. Either way, it's really fun to use and with any of it. So, or any way you want to use it, but it brings in lots of beautiful color, and it's a fun little deck. So it is so precious, and they're on Instagram as well. But I Am Power deck. So there, I think that covers it all. But yeah, you know, like if you're wanting to start reading, don't wait till you feel more ready. Like, it's okay. Like, you're going to get even better just allowing yourself to read. Reading for others, do trading, like reading exchanges, reading for feedback. And then kind of like, you'll know, like, allow yourself to like kind of like have a time frame. So if you want to start offering paid readings, you know, like just get comfortable, do as many free readings as you feel comfortable, but then like set, like, you know, push yourself to go to that next step when you do feel ready. Or, you know, you start not necessarily feel ready, but you feel like, okay, I'm ready for the next step, but I'm a little afraid to take that next leap. But yeah, I'll let it be easy. Go easy on yourself. You know, set some good healthy boundaries so you're not wasting your whole weekend reading for free like I was, because I was just so excited. But yeah, like do free readings on Instagram, find a Facebook group, or find another forum if there's one out there, and just, you know, let yourself do it, and I think you'll love it. It's going to help your own practice. So even if you don't decide to offer paid readings, it's going to help you get better. So like reading for others is going to help your own practice too. So, and you don't, yeah, the only way to do it is to go start doing it. So don't wait for yourself to be like, okay, I'll start reading for others in 10 years. Like, don't do that. You can start reading now. I don't care, like, if you just, do your flashcards, get a good grasp for the basic meanings, and then you will be, that's enough. That is so enough. Like, go ahead, like, put yourself out there and let yourself really start to go to the next level. So I hope that helps you guys. And if you are wanting, so right now I am starting to kind of change up my tarot reading and like how I offer those. So I'm using that. I'm shifting towards only offering them to my coaching clients, or if you do sessions with me. So if you're wanting a tarot reading, whether it's a private video or to do an in-person session through Zoom, you can feel free to comment below or reach out to me. And I think I'll put the link below too, so if you want to schedule that. But yeah, so I started off on Etsy offering my paid readings, but I have moved, I guess it's been great, but it's I have moved on from that now. So I'm offering much more intensive readings, especially around business, around our shadow, how to create, how to manifest our goals, and what might be stopping us, and things like that. And just really wanting to be able to be 100% present for anyone I'm coaching, and bring anyone that's working with me as a client and really going to that next level. That's my main focus right now. So anyway, so you can still get tarot readings from me, but it's going to be more in that frame, where it's probably going to end up just being through my website or through the scheduler, the link in my scheduler. So I hope that helps you guys. So yes, get out there, start reading, make it easy, get a deck that you love, dive in. If you want more decks, go get more decks. And soak it all up and get excited and enjoy it. Read for yourself, learn it for yourself, learn how the cards apply to your life and certain situations, and allow it to be a tool for your empowerment, for your growth, for bringing in the shadow, bringing light to the shadow, and just healing you and empowering you and helping you overcome fears and doubts, so you can really allow yourself to go, I guess reaching your potential, but really just allowing yourself to break through, so anything that has held you back. And obviously it can be used for all kinds of things, but allow it to be a tool for you to really just expand, and I don't know, yeah, I know it's kind of woo-woo, but anyway, I hope that helps you guys. So have a beautiful day. Bye.